Good evening everyone, and welcome to the Planning and Highways meeting today, the 8th of August. I've just got to read through our introductory, so just bear with us. Okay. Please be aware that the Council is video recording this meeting, and this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. I would just like to highlight some key points of the meeting format. Please can I ask everyone to have their phones turned off or set to silent. The fire exits are via the doors out of the chambers and down the external fire escape stairs, or via the main entrance that you enter the building through. In the event of a fire, the lift should not be used. The assembly point is outside the Royal Mail Parcel Office on West Street. Please remain seated unless you are invited to speak or need to take a comfort break. The toilet facilities are out in the corridor you enter through. Members of the public are invited to participate in the meeting with key points as follows. Public participation is limited to a maximum 4 minutes per person and must be related to an item of business on the agenda. As Chair, I will interject if needed to enforce this. For those looking to speak specifically about planning or tree works applications on the agenda, you will be invited to speak immediately before the committee considers that application. For those looking to speak on non-planning application business, you will be invited to speak during the public participation agenda item. Please raise your hand to show you wish to speak, and I will invite you to speak. If you are comfortable standing, please do so to ensure you can be heard across the room. You do not need to state your name when you start speaking if you do not wish to, but we ask that you clearly state which agenda item you are speaking about. I would ask that participants looking to leave the meeting wait until the end of an agenda item to limit distractions for other participants. Members of the public looking to leave the building will need to be escorted out by a council officer. If the meeting goes into confidential session, a short 2-minute break will be held to allow members of the public to leave. To all present, please remember to show respect to others in the meeting and avoid interrupting where possible to enable others to follow the meeting. If any councillor feels concerned about any aspects of the meeting or discussion, please clearly state point of order. I will then gesture for you to elaborate. If anyone present is felt to be behaving unacceptably, they can be ejected from the meeting by resolution. Thank you for listening. On behalf of the Council, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this Town Council meeting. Thank you. Right, we move on to item 1 of the agenda. Apologies for absence.
None received.
Thank you. Item 2, disclosure of interest. To deal with any disclosure by members of any disclosable pecuniary interests as interests other than pecuniary interests as defined under the Seaford Town Council Code of Conduct and Localism Act 2011 in relation to matters on the agenda. Item 3, public participation. To deal with any questions or brief representations from members of the public in accordance with relevant legislation and Seaford Town Council policy. In accordance with Town Council policy, members of the public wishing to speak individual planning applications may do so immediately before each planning application. I think. Thank you. So, planning applications received week commencing 8th of July, LW/24/0460 and LW/24/0461, Sutton Place, Eastbourne Road, re-roofing, insertion of roof access hatch and solar panel fixing brackets. recovering of roof fabric to the outbuilding and neighbouring stable cottage. And you had extra information on report 6424 on pages 9 to 11. So open to the committee. Councillor Honeyman.
Thank you very much. It's thank you, and always call you Madam Mayor, Madam Chair. It's a wonderful building, and in a lot of ways you wish it was in the public realm. It's not. It's quite well hidden, and you can't really access the site very easily unless it's gated property, isn't it? So in one level I wish it was, but that's not what we're here for, is it? No. Make it into a museum. But no, I agree with what they're trying to do. I mean, it's a very comprehensive design access statement and everything. So I'm happy to support what they're trying to do, especially with the slate as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Was that one seconder? I think it was Councillor Buchanan first. Any other comments? I think so. I mean, I don't know at this stage, but picking up on a member of public requested Swift boxes to be installed. I don't know if it can be noted.
I think that would be a very good note to have.
Yeah. Okay. So can I have a show of hands supporting this application, please? That's unanimous. LW/24/0454 Seaford Head Lower School, Stane Road. Replacement of existing boundaries with fence to improve safeguarding measures. And there again, we've got a little bit more information on report 64/24, pages 9 to 11. Would you like to make any comments?
Oh, I might as well as I'm here. Hello, I'm John Dilly. I'm chair of the Seaford Learning Trust. I wasn't planning on talking, but as I'm here, I might as well. I think the overarching message that I want to get across is that this is something that was highlighted at safeguarding audits that the county have done in relation to the site on a number of occasions, at least 2 that I'm aware of, and the school took steps to bid for funds to do this work because it's outside of our budgetary constraints. We were successful in securing funds from the SIF bids and fund pot, and it's only because we were successful that we were able to put forward the planning application. This revised application reflects on both the objections and also the comments of the inspectorate that came round, and hopefully it will gain your support. I think that it's heartening to see that there are only 2 objections this time compared to the multiple ones that we had before, and I think that it might not too many conclusions can be drawn, but nobody in Cricketfield Lane has complained to the rest of the development, so that's not tacit approval, but I think it is heartening and pleasing from our point of view. That's basically my 2 pennies. We're not doing it out of fun, but it has been highlighted. Unexpected things happen, people do strange things at times, and it also stops absconding from site as well.
Thank you. Right, open to the committee. Councillor Hunter.
Thank you again, Chair. Yes, yes, I can see where our visitor is coming from in a lot of ways, and I mean, as part of my work here, I did look at the planning inspectorate's report from the reviews from last time, and yes, I mean, you acknowledge at the front of the school is that the wall's pretty dilapidated down. It's quite low, and something has to be done on that particular part of the site anyway. That boundary, and including like I think there's no one entrance going to be stopped anywhere. There's a few redundant entrances and bits and pieces on the front side, so that wall needs to be looked at. The back towards Corsica Hall, the heritage people weren't really too upset about that particular boundary that borders Corsica Hall, so you got the back side, they're quite happy to do that side of things. So even though it's not a part fence, it's not a complete fence, it's a sort of a part fence, but it will probably do what most of what the safety audit has done. My only concern is when you look at the type of fencing, if it's going to be similar to But I can't quite work it out from the diagram. It's going to be similar to what they've got at the upper school. That sort of mesh style fencing, or is it going to be? It is stuff you can see through. I'm assuming it is similar to what they've got at the upper school site, around the site, because that's my only biggest concern is the type of fencing it actually is going to be. So I hope that helps the starters anyway.
Do you know the answer to that?
Can, on this occasion, are members happy if the member of the public comments on this? So
Answers your question.
Yeah, sort of answers.
Yeah, because if it's on realm with upper school site, which is obviously a dominant site as well, if it's similar to that. I know schools often have two sorts of fencing. You've got the immediate one around the actual physical building, then how far you take the outside fencing, isn't it? And that varies from school to school, where you are and all the rest of it. But most of them at least do that one around the actual initial, the bulk of the buildings for obvious reasons. But I'm happy if you're going to suspend standing orders briefly if there's a few questions.
So we're all happy to withstand. Can I have a show of hands, please? And yes, sir.
That's right. It is the same format of fencing. It's the standard school kind of level of fencing, and it comes in various heights. And this application has changed from the last time, and it comes in various colours. It will be the same configuration, the same general design as the inner perimeter, which is already at the lower side, and will be the same ultimate as what's at the upper side. But we have an inner perimeter inside the car park, and so there is a secure area there where the children kind of move around during the day, and then this will be the outer perimeter, so cover that when they're on the sports field, and also there'll also be motorised gates as well, and I think they're going to be in a similar level of construction, but it's the standard BS format fencing, and it will be in green, and it will be, I think we're asking for 2.2, but it's in that document.
Okay, so nothing more to say?
Nothing on the specifics of the fence. It is the same as what's already on site.
Because once I bring the standing orders back in, you can't say anything. The bit you were saying about closing gates on the other side of the entrance is there was a footpath which is no longer in use, and there's some big builds. So you've got a small more modern brick wall over there. In the middle, you've got like a 3-foot high metal fence, and right on the kind of the other side, you've got the old rendered flint wall, and the three of them will be replaced with the fencing, with the modern configuration of fencing.
Good. Go on,
Any other questions? Councillor Buchanan?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I couldn't quite make out what the form of the fence was going to be. It's described as a mesh.
Are you
fence.
asking the question to the member of the public?
I can do, can I?
Because otherwise I've got to bring back standing orders.
Well, all I'm saying is I couldn't find anywhere, because if I looked up the Jackson's Euroguard, I think there's a typo in the thing here.
They're oblong. It's vertical and horizontal rather than interlocking chain, which is what's currently at the Corsical, the old kind of chain link fencing. These are vertical and horizontal. What you tend to find is that you've got 3 or 4 together at about 1 inch or 2 apart. Then there's a 8-inch gap, and then you've got 3 or 4 again that are horizontal. So you have that, and then the verticals are at regular intervals as well.
Okay.
But in the format of fence that's both at the upper school and on the lower school, already on the lower school side for the inner perimeter.
So just a quick one for Councillor Richardson. You know this type of fence?
It's at the upper school now, so.
I know, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
And you're kind of.
Oh yeah. You can visibly see through. It's not. I mean, there's some fencing like Seaford Primary, back at Seaford Primary School, for example, but that is can hardly see through. There's different. I mean, that's a different argument. They must have argued that the back of Seaford Primary was. I don't know if you know about that sort of thing.
I think that's a close boarding.
Yeah, it's a close boarding.
I think that's feather boarding, which is a complete. Normally you'd have about 1.8 metres. Where you've got the height, and it's a pretty standard school configuration. It comes in a variety of heights, and at the upper side, It's what was used there, and it's what's on the other side of the road where we've got the mugger and the sports field as well. It is school equipment.
You say Seaford only use that at the back, so the front's just like similar to what you're proposing or what's on the upside already on their one. So I mean obviously as a comment, yes, I mean at the moment I suppose what people I guess have to get used to it if it all gets improved in the sense of I think we'll miss because it's set down, you'll miss that open aspect with Seaford Head and all that goes with that, but I think it's one of these things we have to lose if that's just to
it addresses a concern. I think it's the only it's a solution that isn't a solid wall. It is the best compromise that we were able. Obviously we put the original application in and there were comments around it. We've reflected on those, and the priority here, the main thing was the priority is the road frontage, and we will just have to and replacing the other bits which are slightly older cricket field we'll have to leave and reflect on a longer term basis. But it is what that's we are where we are with that.
Councillor Olivia Hanley.
I was just going to say, having looked at this, and I think this is, as you say, it's a compromise for what had initially been planned. And as you said, there's no one here from Cricketfield Road residents or any of the local residents here.
Have you got actual questions?
No, sorry, I can't bring a standard.
Yes.
I can't make any decision otherwise. No.
Okay, there's no more questions to be asked. You fully understand. Okay. So can I have a show of hands to bring in standing orders again? Okay, now open to committee.
Yes, so I was saying, I won't go back to it. I was just saying. But just saying, I think this is a compromise to the situation. That obviously this is something that's really important to the school that needs doing, but it also means the residents. I know there's been 2 objections, but there has to be a compromise with this.
Thank you. Councillor Coleman.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The last time in principle, I was actually happy to support it because obviously I've worked in education and government policy is for the security and safeguarding of children, but obviously there were so many objections from the residents on Cricketfield Way and around. But actually, if we look at this, we have 2 objections. This room isn't filled up like it was last time.
No.
So I think the school have gone away, they have thought about it, and I think actually we've got something that is pleasing to the local residents and actually supports the school in what they need to do. So I'd actually like to support this application.
Thank you. So I find a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Hanneman. Any other questions or views? Councillor Buchanan?
Yeah, thank you. Just to be absolutely clear, it is just for this green one at the top, this application. No, because this is this says works outside scope of planning application 7 on this drawing. It's only for the.
For now, you're not doing the.
Only for the blue one at the top.
Just along Stone Road, isn't it?
This application is just for the Stane Road elevation.
My thought on it. I understand that the safety of children's got to come first, and this is a vast improvement on the previous application. But I did think if trees could be planted along on the roadside to soften the impact of the fence itself. It's just a suggestion, but I just feel, it's going to, for the residents in Stane Road, they've had this open vista and suddenly there's going to be this tall fence. And I just think by putting trees or shrubbery along there, it will just soften the harsh look of it. I don't know if the committee or the proposer and the secretary will consider that as an added.
I'd second that.
I was going to say, I think if you look at a lot of the schools, they start with the fencing and they put shrubs and bushes and things around, and they grow up and around the fencing, so they've still got the fencing and that, so yeah, I'm quite happy to
Okay.
support that.
Seconded. Okay with that? Okay. So you have that. So can I have a show of hands of supporting this application with that added addition? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
I'm happy to, you'll just see me out of the
You're quite
building.
welcome to stay.
There's Olympics on. We've got a chance of another medal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we think about
I
it,
just
course, can
think-
hold
Yeah, no,
up
you
anyway,
say
so
it,
But then I
don't necessarily
thought,
have to
you know,
go back
especially
on that.
what's happening up in Seaford.
It's on the same, because don't get
We
used
just
to how
don't
much
know,
have to do
we
that.
are in a
Course,
reasonable
well,
safe area. but
Well, it used to be,
just look at that one
it used to be used for
Just
education
suppose.
purposes.
No, and if you look at
And I've been on courses there for
and
training when I worked for
grow the
council.
shrubs
This is how you.
and it softens it.
But it joins in,
It's
I mean,
it is,
you went
but
down
it
to
softens
the
it. Actually,
environmental,
Yeah,
down on lower school, didn't you? Or you go to that?
I missed that.
Yeah, but it goes on the back of that, what was down there? The back of the lower school, when it goes into the core school, it's not really, I mean, it is quite limited fence there, isn't it? But the core school hall's quite secure anyway, isn't it? So it's not too much of an issue to have one there, but maybe eventually I get one, because I think the front is doing more than anything, doesn't it?
I mean, I think the
Yes.
main issue last time, what the inspector picked up was the Cricket Field Road. Because their
No.
gardens are so small, and it would be like being in prison.
If there was a fire in someone's
Yeah.
house and you have to try and get out something, we could
Yeah.
use, I know,
Yeah.
that side of things.
Okay, thank you. So planning applications received Monday the 15th of July. LW/24/0464 Questover Eastbourne Road, single storey front side infill extension. Who would like to lead on this one? Councillor Buchanan?
Yeah, look, considering it's right next to a substation, I wouldn't argue with that little infill there. I wouldn't have any problem with that at all.
Okay. You've making a proposal?
I can propose it.
Thank you. Councillor Hudman?
Yeah, I looked at it and I sort of looked at the name of the planned business as well. And I couldn't see why we couldn't agree to it because of where it is and it sort of slightly back and doesn't infill and so yeah, I didn't think we could object to that.
Second,
Yeah.
thank you. Councillor Corman?
can we just make sure that the substation's checked out, because they're building very, very close to it, and any foundations of that, if it starts to move, and what could happen to the substation? Are they happy with that being built? Because it is so close.
I don't think there was any comments on that. Any comments on that?
Yeah, but would they? Are they actually asked? They're not highways, they're not the water company. Actually, are they actually asked about their opinion on something like that?
Well, maybe we can support it, but make that comment.
Yeah, I'd rather just get that checked out, because it is so close to that substation.
Okay. Councillor Buchanan, as your proposer, are you happy to have that added in?
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
very good for.
Thank you. So can I have a show of hands of supporting this application with the comment of the substation? That's unanimous. Thank you. Right. LW/24/0467 4 to 7 Hythe Close, replacement of existing windows and patio doors and the UPVC infill panels. Who'd like these on this one? Councillor Foreman?
Thank you, Chair. I'm quite happy to support this. I can't see any issues with it. It's just
It's all like for
but
like.
virtually like for like replacement, so.
Councillor Buchanan?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just a thought on what they call the specification in their list of documents submitted. Is actually just a glossy. It doesn't, it's 70 pages or something, but it doesn't actually say exactly which bit of, what type, specific U value of the glazing or anything like that. I can only assume that it meets building regs. I think we had this discussion on the last occasion where people...
How thick they are.
Well, it's not just how thick they are, it's the type of the construction of the glazing, because you can have a U value anyway, a variation of different U values, even for double glazing. So, again, it's just an observation on the way these applications are made. Because how many pages is that? It's quite a lot of pages.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it says wonderful things like you can achieve 0.8 as a U value, which is actually as good as you can get virtually, but that's not what these ones are. Can't get that with double glazing. So, just maybe we can get clarifications in the future from these planning applications.
Maybe again, we could make a note of that to request that.
And it's not specific necessarily to this. It's a broader kind of.
It's been every application we've had for Windows, hasn't it? It's not had that information.
It'd just be very interesting to know.
Councillor Bond?
Yeah, thank you. Can we then maybe as a committee make a note to the chair of the planning and district council that actually more needs to be done with regards to maybe windows in planning applications before. So applicants can't just give us a glossy brochure and actually need to be more specific of which ones they're getting, and actually officers shouldn't verify documents unless there is more specifics and glossy documents.
Yeah, like on listed buildings really, we need that more information, don't we?
Yeah, so is that something that we can as a committee put to them?
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Hanneman hasn't spoken.
Yeah, further to what Councillor Buchanan and Councillor Bond was saying, I mean, in a lot of ways, yes, a lot of people use PVC, glazing for various reasons, maybe thickness, but then you've got the noise insulation as well, haven't you? So it could be a bit of multitude of situations. So I don't know if it's mentioned in the neighbourhood plan, I can't remember. I could check at some stage if anyone else can have a look, just in case glazing's in there. A little bit, I don't remember, don't recall, don't know if anyone else does, but no. But anyway, just another passing observation really.
I mean, all I picked up on this was that the windows and that was like for like, but with more efficient for...
In hopes then.
Okay. Councillor Khan.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. There is a reference in that document to WER, which is the window energy rating, and that kind of crosses over into the British Fenestration Rating Council, which actually should be the ones that this glass and glazing system should be under, because that's where you get the the A++, the A+, and the B- and all the rest of it ratings for not just the glass but the window system.
Thank you.
So look, don't they?
Yeah.
As low as.
As low as.
It varies.
We've got on the table that would support this application. Did we find a seconder? Thank you. And can I have a show of hands, please? That's unanimous. Planning applications received Monday 22nd of July, LW/24/0485, 7 Lady Cross Coast, replacement of existing flat roof conservatory with a new pitch roof, 1 at the rear. Right to lead on this one. It is about double the size of the existing conservatory. Councillor Buchanan.
Thank you, Jeff. I did look back there was an earlier application which was approved for something of a similar size, but it was more solid construction with kind of a solid roof. This is now more of a conservatory arrangement. It's virtually the same size as the previous application in the same place. So I would support this.
Okay. Does I find a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Foreman. Do you want to speak on it? Anybody else? So can I have a show of hands for supporting this application? That's unanimous. LW stroke 24 stroke 0483 1 Shepway Parade, Broad Street. Installation of replacement mechanical plant, replacement palisade, fence and gates to the plant area and replacement auto sliding entrance door. Councillor Foreman?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We kind of keep getting this back fairly regularly, and they don't seem to do the work on it.
I think it was aircon last time.
The fencing in,
Yeah.
in a couple of years ago, but never actually changed it. And, but I'm quite happy to support it. It's going to support a local store, and they're going to need to replace it at some point very soon.
Yeah. Councillor Buchanan?
Thank you, Chair. I must confess, I wonder why one might be having a mechanical plant application applied to this planning, but it's all very good. It's using CO2 as a refrigerant, which has a very, very low global warming potential of 1. So,
Okay.
okay, for this, I mean, as it happens, they also put in a disabled toilet inside, but that's outside the realms of this.
Okay. So you're seconding Councillor Foreman. Any other comments? Can I have a show of hands supporting this application? That's unanimous. SDMP stroke 24 stroke 02462 stroke FUL, the Calf Barn, the street, Bishopstone Village. Conversion of barn structure into an artist studio. Let's lead on this one. Councillor Olivia Hunman.
Yeah, I thought this was a good use of a building, and there's been very, very thorough reports done on this. I was reading a lot of the ecological survey, and there's a lot of work done on this to actually make sure it's. They didn't seem to have any issues about it being done, or the fact, because it's already an existing building, very thorough. So I was quite happy to support it, to turn it into artist studio, because I didn't see anything that was objecting or anything negative. I didn't read everything word for word, but it just seemed quite a good thing for the area to do.
Thank you. Is there time to seconder? Councillor Foreman?
Yeah.
Comment?
Yeah, I think it's diversification of an existing building that if it's just left, it will just eventually fall down. So to use it for something like that, and I know South Downs National Park's really keen on diversifying these buildings into something that can be used, and they obviously know that there is that appeal for the local people to come and use it for what they're doing, otherwise they wouldn't have done it, they would have got their information already, so I'm quite happy to second it.
Any other comments? Councillor Richard Hunman?
As both Councillor Hanneman and Councillor Foreman says, yes, there's other examples in the village are similar, for bars being converted for workshops and so on, and we know that. So this is an extension of that idea, and diversifies the village. I mean, the alternative to say is accommodation, really, isn't it? If you want to do it for something similar to what we're looking at tonight. So I'd support it. That's good.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to put my 2 pennies worth in. I support it in principle as it being used and that. I'm just not happy with the cladding. I just feel that it's a shame they haven't used the blackboard cladding together with the red brick, which is quite a feature within the village, and this being in the conservation area. And even the use of flint, because you can get flint cladding, which is also a high feature in the village. But as I say, other than that, I fully support it. Now I've put that in, I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that. Councillor Buchanan first.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of cladding, they're clearly insulating it, and it's going to go on the outside of the building, isn't it? So it's covering whatever was there originally. I suspect flint may be a more expensive solution, which may be part of the decision-making process here. Those are just observations.
Yeah, because they're going to use either locally sourced oak and sweet chestnut, wasn't it? But once that sort of starts aging, yeah. Councillor Bournemouth?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'll say obviously it depends what Councillor Honeyman as the proposals do, but I'd be quite happy to add in, actually, as you said, it's conservation area, and actually to keep it more naturally in line with all the other buildings in there, and to add that.
We're quite happy with that. I mean, obviously the whole application seems to have gone down quite well with the local residents, because I'm sure they would come back on that. But I just feel it would be nice for it to blend in with the already structures in the village. So yeah, thank you. So can I have a show of hands supporting the application with comments about using exterior?
Yeah, different, more appropriate colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Right, moving on to agenda item 5. To notify the committee of decisions taken by Lewes District Council on applications previously considered. And you're asked to note the report unless you've got any questions, and I know Izzy wants to do an update as well. So any comments on the report?
It's just nice to see us in line with, or the district council in line with us.
Okay. Okay, over to you, Izzy.
It was just to add, obviously I've emailed you all about the Southland National Park early engagement. I've now had a look at it, and I've also had a very lovely discussion with the previous planning officer, Jeff. And because I couldn't quite work out, I was trying to work out from reading these massive documents what it was that we were going to sort of say back to them. So when I had a chat with Jeb, he has said that at this stage there probably isn't a reason for us to give a detailed response on the 3 documents that I've sent round to you, because they really do just set out the scope of the project rather than any proposed policy changes or a site assignment and all that sort of thing. So I just wanted to sort of pre-warn you, because obviously I've sent you all that task to do by the 19th of August, which I don't want you to do what I've done and go through all of the documents and then at the end of them think, what are we going to say? So I think if you pause there, if you have got any comments to feed in, please do still send them to me. But if you pause there, I think the report I bring to the next committee meeting will be suggesting that we still respond out of courtesy, because obviously we're a consultee, just sort of noting that these stages are these documents that they've submitted, and I'll probably suggest that we say that we haven't got any comment at this stage. And then what we will look at is the survey, because the survey is asking for more specific feedback. So if you could still have a look at the survey, which I sent round to you all, and think about what the town council's response should be to that. And I think at this stage that would be our best approach. And then in the spring we should get the full consultation. I basically just don't want to waste your time.
I think that's a bit of a relief.
Thank you,
Started.
Yes, I just wanted to, thank you, Chair. Just wanted to, I haven't read them yet, but I shall. Southfield Barn isn't actually on South Downs National Park land, is it?
Yeah.
It's on.
Yes.
Oh, it is. So, I will be looking at those things from the point of view of, is there anything that we might say that might help support at some point, or improve support, or enhance support for what we're thinking of trying to achieve at Southfield Barn.
But then so with these 3 specific documents we've been asked to comment on, they make hardly any reference to any detail of the plan. It's more literally scoping out the project. So they're basically presenting how they're going to do the review of the plan. It's very, very, very early. So basically what happened is that the previous government, obviously there was the change in 2023, so Southampton National Park wanted to start what they wanted to start with the update of the local plan, and now they've gone back, almost back a step, and they've added in this additional engagement step. I think just why they're waiting to see what happens with the government we now have. So it's an additional engagement. It's not a statutory engagement step in updating the local plan. So there's not much to go by in terms of considering a response really. When you read through it all, it's timetables and plans, as in project plan scope, rather than any detail at all.
Yeah, so you all had a photocopy of the survey, so concentrate on that bit basically.
I'll put one for Councillor Borman.
Didn't you get one? Oh no, because you weren't here, were you? No.
We've just got a specific question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the answer. Who actually decides the planning boundary of Seaford in the sense of if it was to be enlarged in any way? What part of government is that?
I think it's the Boundary Commission. Is
Yeah.
that right?
The planning boundary, not.
Yeah.
But obviously we'd all be consulted, all levels of, we were district, county and National Park would all be consulted, wouldn't they, if they were changing that?
There'd be a full governance review, wouldn't there?
For that point of view, because the planning boundary goes so far, doesn't it? Planning boundary inside the scope of what town council is, that boundary. But that doesn't come under any of this really, does it? So that would be a different scope, wouldn't it?
South Downs National Park is actually bordering the Lewis District Council planning boundary, except for Bishopstone Village and obviously the golf course and Southfield Barn. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah,
All I know is it's
you
a
are
wing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was at South when it came in, and I just remember it is a difficult boundary that we're in and out of at certain points, and some are fully in it, and some are in it, by a field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But usually if South Downs National Park want to say they wanted there was going to be some building in the South Downs National Park which borders onto our boundary, we would get notification of it.
Oh yeah, you would. Yeah.
And vice versa. Yeah. So we'll just look at that survey, and if there's anything you feel was to be said, then
you send it across to me before, or we can discuss it at the meeting. Because the survey, we can sit and do the survey together on the screen if we want to.
Because it's not a great deal.
No, it's questions. That's the key issue, survey.
So prepare it before the meeting, we'll finalise it at the next meeting.
Just a bit of homework then, really.
Yeah. Okay,
I've shortened it. Shortened that one.
so,
It's shorter than reading all those documents.
so can I have show of hands of noting this report? Thank you, that's unanimous, thank you. And that really concludes the meeting, because the other was part of, yeah. So that concludes the meeting at, is that right? Yeah, 7:45. Thank you everybody for coming.